Hey, so this is going to be a video about my experience with Freedomain Radio. And so to get started, I started listening to Freedomain Radio about 6 or 7 years ago. And I started listening to, hundreds of podcasts at least, just on every single subject because his ideas and philosophies, I guess you could say, on atheism and anarcho-capitalism and libertarianism and all of those isms was really interesting to me at the time. And I was very impressionable and kind of at a crossroads in my life where I don't know, I had supported the Ron Paul presidency for a little while, and then I saw his video on Ron Paul, and then he was talking about, well, political freedom is one thing, but you want to have personal freedom first, which is a great concept. Of course you want to be personally free in your life, and that it doesn't matter really what the political climate is in some ways, as long as you're personally free in your life. And that was a really attractive philosophy for me because I was really into Bruce Lee talks a lot about the self-knowledge and philosophy and just being a free person, not attached to dogma or styles, as Bruce would say. But so anyways, by going through Freedomain Radio, I started to really become a prisoner of what he was talking about. So all of his beliefs about atheism or anarcho-capitalism or psychology, I mean, all of his beliefs, they're just beliefs. They're just little models, of psychology that have taken root about childhood abuse and how that affects you later. But then he kind of manipulates it to serve his own agenda, which is, I know it doesn't look like this from the outside, and he would never ever say that this was what Freedomain Radio is about, but it's just a big it's a big circle jerk was the first word that came to mind. It was just for himself, all for his own ego, and it's not interested in philosophy, at all. That's what it really comes down to me. I don't know. Just from having been exposed to it for 3 to 4. No, I mean 6 years now, but I mean for the last 2 or 3 years. No, 3 or 4 years, I haven't listened to him at all, except for watching a few of his videos every now and then, just to kind of check up on it, because I was kind of confused on what had happened to me after I'd started listening. So anyways, long story short is that I kept listening to his podcasts for the answers to life, right? For all of the answers. I assumed kind of that I had none of the answers, and I had to go out there and look to an authority figure like Steph, which again, he wouldn't explicitly say he's an authority figure, but he sure paints himself out to be one. And everything in the whole FDR community, and I can only speak for when I was in it, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Perhaps he's changed, I don't think so, by watching his Joe Rogan podcasts and kind of talking about some lies and saying that Christina was never suspended at all for the stuff, but that's more of a something modern that's come up. But for me back then, his whole FDR ideology, the whole community was built around him being the top of the community and it being a top down, everyone under him does not have the answers sort of community. And it's a real just disrespectful to other people's ability to find their own answers and to be critical thinkers. And man, it's just disgusting to me. That he promotes himself, or proposes, I guess, that he is just a guy who's, on the internet talking about philosophy and stuff, but at the same time, there's this undercurrent, this undertow that is saying that he has the right answers. He's the right person to go to if you want truth. As if he's a fucking arbiter of truth, which he's not. One thing he is, I would say, is that he does bring a lot of interesting and logically convincing arguments about anarcho-capitalism and atheism and things like that. But that's conflated with his own desire for, like, ego satisfaction, I guess I would say. Something like that. Something where he wants to feel like he is the head of this movement, and he is very important, and he is indispensable. Yeah, I'm glad how this is coming out, because that's how I've seen it for, like, the whole time that I've kind of been off the Kool-Aid in this way. I guess I shouldn't call it Kool-Aid. It's because I don't want this to be like a bash, an FDR bashing thing. Like, this is literally just what happened to me, and that I stopped trusting myself, thinking that I didn't have any of the answers, and that I could not think critically for myself, which is a fucking disservice. It's a disservice to everyone who ever comes across his ideas, because they have the answers inside them. Like, as corny or cheesy as that may sound to you, they have the capacity to make decisions for themselves, and they don't have to listen to what this guy on the fucking internet is saying, and that he's parading as philosophy, when it's just his own opinions on what life is like, or like what psychology is like, and what, like, psychoanalysis is like. And that's a big part of it. The reason why I'm bringing up psychoanalysis is because he brings that kind of shit up all the time. Just to just like psychoanalyze everything, man. That's all I found myself doing when I was in this funk of FDR, which means Freedomain Radio. So I just started psychoanalyzing, like, everything, and it just was a terrible influence on my life, and I went through a lot of periods of anxiety and depression. Man, it was just fucking crazy. Just because when you got so much going on in your mind, then how the fuck are you supposed to rest and relax? If you're always trying to psychoanalyze people, psychoanalyze your past, which you can almost never get to the end of psychoanalyzing your past. It's like, once you psychoanalyze something and get to the end of that, there's always something more to do. So it's a never-ending journey. Yeah, it's a never-ending journey to psychoanalyze your past. So I don't know. I guess I just wanted to make this video to tell my story, of course, and just put a different spin on the FDR community and what its kind of like what its goals are, even though it's not said this way. It's not explicitly ever going to say that he's all for you not thinking for yourself. But there's a lot of kind of double standards, or things that he says that are hypocritical in a lot of ways, based on the undercurrent, like the overall shaming environment, I guess you could say, about the FDR community and what it's built on. It's not built on like truth. It's not built on coming to truth. I can just say that straight out as a fact for me. That's like been my personal experience of FDR, has been that it's not going towards truth. It's going towards supporting a certain ideology that Steph holds, and that's it. And saying whatever he needs to say and doing whatever he needs to do to support that ideology. And so it's not about actually coming to the truth of things. It's about just supporting his own ideology on how he thinks life works. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I mean, yeah, I'm just, an ex-FDR member from years ago that's just talking about his own story. So I hope that if you're listening to FDR right now, that you can take in this advice, you could say, just to not get caught up in holding him as the arbiter of truth. You have your own wisdom inside of you that you can trust. And you don't need some guy on the internet not to denounce him, or to, say that he's not worthy as a human being either, and he's got his own opinions and everything. But you have your own wisdom inside of you. And you don't need some other guy to tell you what to believe. That's all I'm saying. So I'm going to make some more videos on some of the other like double standards, I guess, that I've seen in the FDR community. And I hope that it's used as a productive way for him to orient himself more in the way of truth, rather than just trying to support his ideology. So thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later.